gotta adjust the lighting and all that jazz. Look at this dramatic lighting. This is kind of cool. I got a new shirt in a new type of color that I've never had before. I've always had blues, muted blues and darker blues in my shirts up until now, but excuse me, this is a salmon color. I mean, I didn't set the white balance. I was lazy, so you're not going to get the actual color of my shirt, but it's kind of like an orange/salmon color, plus the red in the background kind of throws it off. But I had a photo shoot for myself for my dating apps and social media a couple days ago on Thursday, and I bought a couple more shirts so that I could have more options for the shoot, since the shoot was not cheap. It was $1,500. Part of it was because I wanted the fruits of the shoot myself, and part of it was I wanted to experience being on the other side of a shoot. I've always been on the camera, behind the camera, but now I'm in front of the camera. And I wanted to see what my clients would go through. First of all, in the decision to pay for a shoot and to buy a shoot, I wanted to know what that was like. And then I also wanted to know what it was like to actually go through the shoot as a photography rather than a photographer. But today's going to be more of a relaxed vlog. Sorry that I have not been uploading in the past couple days, but today I am remedying that. And I came to a realization recently. I was so worried about paying my bills because I'm behind on my expenses, about a week today, and for a long time it was worrying me. It was giving me a lot of stress, and I listened to a podcast by a guy I'm coaching, who's coaching me, Andy. I've talked about him a lot. Andy from Kill Your Inner Loser. He had me on his podcast twice. I had him on my YouTube channel. We interviewed each other, etc. He is a guy who's had a lot of success in his life when it comes to now money, but also content creation and living a fulfilling and pretty awesome sex life. And I realized that I've been focusing on, how do I explain this? That every now and then I'll realize that my actions are detached from the emotions of the situation. Now, let me see how I can explain it. I like to say that we all have like a desire, right? Like if I want money, I desire that money, but honestly, that feeling of desire is not for money, it's for the safety that it comes with. Like a lot of the time, like say I'm it's coming up on time to pay rent, and say I don't have enough in my bank account to pay rent. Then what I feel is fear, and out of a reaction to that fear, I feel a desire for money. And what that desire for isn't really the money, it's what the money can do. It's I want to pay my rent so I'm not worrying about being on the street, so I feel safe, so I feel secure. And something just clicked after I listened to that podcast and after I thought about it, and I realized that I'm not the numbers in my bank account. That the numbers in my bank account are a temporary situation. Kind of like if you're hungry, unless you've been hungry your whole life and you are living on the street, you don't have much food, you're not going to think like, I will never have money. I will never have food. I'll always be hungry. Usually most people, anyone who's listening to this really has the means to feed themselves. You're not going to feel like, I'm worried about never being able to eat again. That's just not going to happen. You're probably in a state where you feel it's food's available to you. And that's one thing that it kind of clicked. It's like, yeah, sure. I've like briefly been in states where I feel rich. Like I feel like money's there for me. When I have a lot in my bank account, I feel safe. I feel secure. I feel happy. I feel at ease. I feel like I'm thinking about not money anymore. I'm not worrying about not paying bills and going on the street and stuff. I'm thinking about, oh, what do I want to do? Like what would be really nice to do right now? And I think that's the key. It's like you're never worrying about money. You're worrying about like, will I be on the street? Will I be safe? Will I be secure? And for most of my life, I've been in a really insecure place. I've been in a very chaotic place in my childhood and after it. Uh, I grew up for the first 7 years of my life. I was in Hershey. My dad worked for Hershey Chocolate, and then we moved to California. And when we were in California, my dad lost his job. My parents divorced. My mom sued my dad. It was ugly. It was really ugly. And when my dad lost his job, he never got back on his feet. He went from making $300,000 a year, being a very high level executive in Jelly Belly, to not making, well, at one point he was making some good money giving out bad mortgages during the housing crisis. But after that, he just kind of never got himself up off the ground. And even to this day, the money that he lives on comes from my grandpa. So that was hard. And then I would be staying at my dad's house sometimes, and then I'd be staying at my mom's house, and then I'd be staying at dad's, mom's, dad, and they'd both be moving around, and they'd both be worried about not paying rent, and it was very chaotic. And then my mom put me in a group home, and then blamed it all on me, and so of course I internalized all that. It was a chaotic upbringing, to say the least, and it still fucks with me in some ways, but thankfully I've grown a lot from it, and I can see myself living a functional future with, having high self-esteem. But that took a lot of time and a lot of work for me to heal from all that. But one thing I'm currently healing from is I've been, what's a good way to say it? I've been accustomed. There you go. I've been accustomed to feeling like I'm not allowed to feel safe. Like I'm not allowed to feel secure. Like I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop all the time. Because I was like, first we moved to California, I left all my friends. That was one tragedy. And then my parents divorced. That was another tragedy. And then my dad lost his job. That was another tragedy. And then we moved again. That was another tragedy. And it was like tragedy. And then I went to the group home. That was another tragedy. And then after the group home, I went to another living skills program. That was another tragedy. It was tragedy after tragedy. So it's almost like when something good happens, I don't feel I deserve it. I feel like what I deserve is chaos. What I deserve is to feel scared, to not know what's going to happen next, and to not feel happy, and pay attention to my passions and what I want to build. And yeah, it's a scary place to be in. Putting a voice to it, being honest about it, gives me a lot of levity, gives me a lot of that feeling where I can just let go. What is that? There's an icon on the camera I don't recognize. But it feels great to just be able to say where I've been, because it's almost like once you've spoken it once you've talked about it, well, now you're the person talking about it. You're not the person going through it. It gives you distance. But the point of all this is maybe what I said could help you come to realizations of maybe some patterns you are living, but also the clarity and understanding of like, I'm not worrying about money, I'm worrying about a lack of money. And even more specifically, I'm worrying about a lack of what money brings, which is safety and security. And that tells me I really want safety and security. So it's like dissecting your fear. Like underneath your fear is your desires, like your desires, and then the opposite of your desires. So it's like my desire to be safe and secure and feel like I feel comfortable here in this place. But underneath, but the opposite of that is a fear of not having safety. So a fear of everything feeling chaotic. But at the same time, that's what I'm used to. I'm used to everything feeling chaotic, and I'm used to things being kind of up in the air. So that feels comfortable for me. So that fear feels comfortable for me. And my realization over the past couple of days is that I've become very comfortable in the chaos. And I think it was like a memory on Facebook today. It was kind of crazy. I put on Facebook some quote by a woman called Jen Sincero, and I don't even remember who she was. I probably saw her. I probably went to a talk that she was at, because that was when I was in college and going to a lot of talks and stuff. But it was, you'll be successful the moment you decide that you want your success more than your drama. And I was like, whoa. And I posted that, and I posted it probably just parroting her. I didn't really fully realize what it meant. But the moment you want your success more than your drama is the moment you'll be successful. And today, not even yesterday, and not even the whole of today, but just like there's been a peace washing over me, a peace of, like, it's almost like a feeling that success is inevitable. It's hard to explain, and I think it's because I've taken off the emergency brake, because I'm starting to do work on, do I deserve this or do I not deserve this? A book that my friend recommended to me, The 6 Pillars of High Self-Esteem, or The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem, or something like that. I've been reading it on my Kindle, and then I also just got the audiobook to make it easier for me to read, like while I'm in the car or whatever, doing deliveries and stuff. So that's nice. Yeah, I think that's the main thing in here is the overarching, like, abstract thing. I mean, you can take a lot from the other stuff I'm talking about, but the overarching thing here is once you want the success more than you want your drama, that's when you've taken off the emergency brake and you're letting yourself succeed, and then it's inevitable. So, yeah, I guess that's the takeaway from here. By the way, if you like my setup, I didn't white balance very well, so I look super orange. I might correct that later in edit time, but I have a camera with an awesome lens and some cool lights in the background, and a nice microphone and a shock mount and microphone arm and a bunch of tripods and another light that's on my face right now. It's super bright to light me up. All this is available on Amazon. I have affiliate links in my description if you want to start making content or whatever. It supports me. It helps me out a ton. It helps me out. It helps me out. Maybe I should do all these announcements in a different accent just for funsies. This is sort of like a Sean Connery accent. May he rest in peace. But, yeah, so let's do a Sean Connery accent just to honor the man. Yeah, I have affiliate links in my description. If you'd like to subscribe, please do, because I put out a lot of videos, and each of these videos has hopefully valuable information that will help you live a more passionate life. So, please do that. I'm going to go end this and record another one and release that one later. So if you see all this up, then you'll come to the place after I've uploaded them, or perhaps you've seen only one, and this one is the latest one, and just know that the next video is coming, because I'm catching up, and I will be doing my 365 plus day project of doing a YouTube video a day. I'm excited to get ahead of that. I'm excited to finish that. And I'm excited to give you more value and help you live a more passionate life. I've been Joe, and I am excited to see you in the next video.